In this video, I'm going to be speculating what Alton Towers' next roller coaster should be. I'll be giving suggestions of the type of ride I would like them to have, as well as possible locations and theming and names behind the ride as well. I'm also going to be reading out some other people's suggestions, what they would like, and I'll be responding to them. So I hope you enjoy.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to talk about the type of roller coaster I would like Alton Towers to receive, and I really think what they need is a wooden roller coaster. Because in this country, we haven't had a wooden roller coaster since 1996, which is Megaphobia over at Oakwood. These wooden roller coasters are getting installed all over the world, but they just seem to not be getting installed in the UK, and I don't really know why, because they're a great type of roller coaster, and they offer something different than steel roller coasters just don't give you. And they also, I think they look much better as well. And reasons why they should get a wooden roller coaster is, if you've seen my other two videos where I say what Thorpe Park's next roller coaster should be and what will be Chessington's roller coaster, again, I think they should have wooden roller coasters as well. And it's just similar reasons. Obviously, the airtime here also focus on negative Gs. You feel more free on a wooden roller coaster, because a lot of them really, all of them really have the lap bar restraints. So again, just more free. Gives us a different feel. And something also that wooden roller coasters that happen is they actually, the speed varies depending on the weather, more so than with steel roller coasters, because obviously the wood expands and shrinks depending on if it's raining or if it's dry, or if it's cold or if it's hot. So again, you could experience different rides at different time of the year, or just different temperatures, which give us something different and be something really new and very good for Alton Towers. Another reason why I think it would be a very good installation for them is because they have got a wide variety of roller coasters. They've got an B&M inverted coaster, which is Nemesis, a flying coaster, which is Air. They've got a spinning coaster like Sonic Spinball, a dive coaster like Oblivion. They've got more of your family coasters, like Runaway Mine Train, and, well, I would count 13 as a family coaster myself. And they've also got some children's roller coasters, like the Octonauts roller coaster. But the one thing they are missing is the wood. And I think that a wooden roller coaster would suit no park better than Alton Towers. If Thorpe Park don't get a wooden roller coaster, I could see them getting a Hyper. If Chessington don't get a roller coaster, I could see them getting something else, like maybe some sort of Mack family launch coaster. But definitely Alton Towers needs to get wood, because I just think it'll look so picturesque. Because if you've been to Alton Towers, you know what it's like. There's so many trees knocking about. So much of it is in the woodlands, so they can have a brilliant place to put it, all in the woodland area. It'll just look very nice, and look very good, and I'm pretty sure it'll work well to terrain. Much like Nemesis, how that sort of goes into a ditch, and they do this with a few other types that could use the terrain. I think it'll look very nice. And actually, it does seem more likely, but again, it's not official, but it does seem more likely that Alton Towers' next roller coaster might be wooden, but not official, because it actually says that in a document that was submitted to the local planning authority, and it gives us various details, such as the proposed ride, and that it would be of timber truss construction set within a wooden backdrop and foreground. That's the quote there. Again, with that timber truss construction set within a wooden backdrop and foreground, this suggests wooden. It's not official. It might just think it have a sort of woodland theme to it. You know, going in and out the trees, that might be what it is. But with the timber truss construction, it does seem likely that it might be wood, and I really hope it is. Also, the proposal actually does include that there's going to be demolitions and removal of existing buildings and ride structures. This includes the blade, and construction of the new ride includes tunnels, ground level changes, maintenance buildings, stations, shop and pre-show building, all with a combined maximum total floor area of 1,130 square metres. And also there'll be a single-storey building to a maximum height of 6 metres, and a two-storey to maximum heights of 7.5 metres. The new ride would have a 14.5 metre maximum height above existing ground level. It's not the tallest, but again, it doesn't show how big the drop is. It could be, you know, using ditches, using terrain. They could get a big drop, and it could just keep up speed, and it'd look very nice and very good. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the type of manufacturer of this hopefully wooden roller coaster. And if I could think of maybe a GCI or a Gravity Group, another manufacturer which I think would be even better maybe is Intamin, because they have worked with Intamin before. Not only have they worked with Intamin in Alton Towers, which would be Rita and 13, but they've worked with them on some abroad ones. They've actually is an Intamin wooden roller coaster in another Merlin entertainment park in Germany, which is Hyde Park, and that's their roller coaster Colossus. So no matter what of Intamin, and the good thing about Intamin is they actually have prefabricated track, and this basically creates a more smooth ride, because basically prefabricated the track basically means they design it and they build the track in the factory or in the warehouse, as opposed to a lot of these wooden roller coasters are built on site, so basically it creates a lot more smoother, more accuracy on the ride. And again, it makes it more happy for the builders, because it just be quicker for them to build up because it works together much like a puzzle, or much like a lot of these steel roller coasters do. Another possible manufacturer would be RMC, Rocky Mountain Construction. They're a newer one. They're sort of like a hybrid. They combine the wood and the steel together. And the good thing about RMC is they can create more steeper drops that you just can't get on a regular wooden roller coaster. They obviously are known for inversions, but I personally wouldn't like this roller coaster to have inversions, mainly because their recent roller coaster Smiler had inversions. So again, focused not on versions, focus more on the airtime hills to be a lot more better. RMC is rumoured to have said that they want to work in the UK on some UK theme parks, so possibly Alton Towers. It's a big name in the UK theme parks, I think, or possibly Thorpe Park. Really, it all depends on what Thorpe Park get, because if Thorpe Park get an RMC roller coaster, I would prefer Alton Towers to get a regular wooden, maybe an Intamin or GCR, one of those types. But if Thorpe Park go for a regular one, like a GCR, an Intamin, etc., then I would like Alton Towers to get an RMC, just so I can get on this RMC, because I've never been on an RMC before. It'd be very nice to experience. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the location of the ride, and there's only really one real place where it's going to go, and that, it does seem more likely it's going to go sort of in the Forbidden Valley over here, maybe somewhere there, because they are expected to get rid of the blade anytime soon. That's going to make way for this, hopefully, wooden roller coaster. There's also been a lot of trees being cut down, which are rumoured to be making way for the roller coaster. So again, this suggests it could be very terrain, going out the trees, weaving out the trees. Look very nice, I think that'll work very well. So the location will be, if you see in this area, possibly something there. And again, they could work with some of the valley. There's a valley just down here. They could work with some of that. I highly doubt they work with all of that valley. The main reason is because there was plans from 2003. John Worley did design a massive wooden roller coaster called the Cross Valley roller coaster. That was his code name. And basically it was going to have like a 72-foot hill and reach speeds of 70 miles an hour, because it has like that 200-foot drop into the valley, which would look absolutely magnificent. And basically it crosses over from the Forbidden Valley area all the way over to Dark Forest, where Rita and 13 are. But this doesn't seem very likely because of the local residents complaining. If you see here, it was mentioned in the newspaper, it just doesn't seem very likely that it's going to happen, basically. But a smaller scale one would be good, working with some of the valley, working with the terrain. I think it'll look very nicely over there in the Forbidden Valley area, just not all of it. Okay, now I'm going to talk about maybe the type of theming for the ride, or the names of the ride, what it might be called. I did find it's quite difficult because it is going to be in the Forbidden Valley area, and that is basically evolved around the Nemesis, that whole area. Obviously the Nemesis and Nemesis Subterror is a backstory to Nemesis ride. You've got the Blade and Ripstore, which are bits of shrapnel thrown off from Nemesis. And also air has actually worked well in that area as well, because it's the Oasis. It's like you conquered through this battle of the Nemesis, and you got through it, and now you're going to ride air and you're going to fly. So again, that works with a theme all around Nemesis. But I can't really see another roller coaster themed around Nemesis itself. And considering it's near the front, not the back, I don't know what they could possibly do. They might possibly do theming. I can't think of names. Maybe theming around the phalanx. I think that's what they call the flanks. And this is basically the organisation, which is mentioned in Nemesis Subterror, that sort of battle the Nemesis, and they kept the egg in its place and everything, of course, until it obviously broke free. So they could maybe do something around the phalanx, I think they're called. Something like that, maybe, possibly. I wouldn't like to see another bit of shrapnel thrown off. That wouldn't work, I don't think, for a roller coaster. And it wouldn't work in the Oasis because it's near the front. I just don't think that would work. What they might possibly do is not make it Forbidden Valley, and make an area completely by itself, a new area altogether. And they might want to not make it a big, sort of highly themed area. Maybe just sort of a natural theme. They could possibly call it Woodland Rush, which I think would be a very good name. Just going in and out the trees, using the terrain, go through the woodland, and because it's a wooden roller coaster, I think that would possibly be a very good name. If it does go in a Forbidden Valley area as opposed to a new land altogether, they would have to sort of theme around Nemesis, otherwise it would stand out and look a bit odd with the Forbidden Valley area. So these are just the possible themes and names for the ride. Okay, now I'm going to think about the whole world's first element to this ride, because a lot of you might know about the secret weapon element of Alton Towers roller coasters, and this basically means it's got to have a world's first element, such as obviously Nemesis is the world's first B&M inverted coaster outside the US. You've got Oblivion, the world's first vertical drop roller coaster. Air, which is the world's first B&M flying coaster. You've got 13, which is the world's first horizontal drop on a roller coaster. And you've got the Smiler, which has the most inversions on a roller coaster, which is 14. So with that whole secret weapon, it is more likely it will possibly be a secret weapon, mainly because of the marketing. If it's a secret weapon, it will have higher marketing. If it's not a secret weapon, such as something like Rita, which has no world's first element, it's just a pretty good ride. I do think they might have run out of ideas for a world's first element. It has worked so far, but I don't know if it worked well on a wooden roller coaster, because soon they got a height barrier. They can't make the world's tallest wooden roller coaster. That just can't happen for them, because of the whole Greenbelt area. They might be able to make the world's fastest wooden roller coaster, and they could possibly do this with, it wouldn't be the world's first launched roller coaster, which a lot of rumours suggesting it would have been, but this actually happened to Lightning Rod over at Dollywood in America. Or they possibly could make the world's fastest wooden roller coaster with a launch, hitting speeds of maybe 80 miles an hour. And if it's some sort of launch one, it probably will be something more like RMC. They're more capable of doing this than a regular wooden. Or possibly, I was thinking most inversions on wooden roller coasters, but considering they've done that recently with Smiler, I would prefer them not to have inversions. I just think they should focus more on airtime hills and overbank curves and things like that. I think will look very well. Another world's first element I'm thinking, which would be quite unique, would be the world's first wooden tilting roller coaster. Because see, there is a tilting roller coaster manufactured by Vekoma called Gravity Max. This is a still type of roller coaster. So the world's first tilting wooden roller coaster might be good. I can't maybe see it having a vertical drop, because I think Oblivion really takes that record for a vertical drop. They might be able to do that. Maybe the world's first beyond vertical drop or something. On a wooden roller coaster, again, it's probably more likely to be RMC. It could be a tilting, but more likely maybe just a steep sort of 70-degree drop with a tilting roller coaster element to it. I think could work. Again, I don't think they really need this to make the ride amazing, but they do need that tagline that they use, mainly just for marketing reasons, really. So that possibly might be a good one to consider. Okay, well now I'm going to be reading out other people's suggestions, the type of roller coaster they'd like Alton Towers to receive. I'll start here by saying Matthew Paul said he'd like a multi-launch RMC hybrid roller coaster. I think it'd be a very good installation for them to get. One of the main reasons is because of the whole multi-launch. That would probably give them a world's first. They could perhaps have the most launches on a wooden roller coaster. Andrew Seeley said he's thinking maybe a normal RMC coaster for Alton Towers with a few inversions through the trees. I personally would prefer it not to have inversions, mainly because they recently had Smiler with inversions, so they have got quite a few roller coasters with inversions in the park. But Matthew Paul also suggested maybe a B&M launch wing coaster with twists and turns through the trees with some elements. I think that would be a very good installation for the game. Personally, a wooden roller coaster next, but maybe something like after that. People sort of do say that these whole wing coasters are very much like the flying coasters, because they give you that sort of floating flying sensation. I personally think they do actually feel very different to a flying coaster myself. They are the sort of the alternative B&M types of roller coasters, but I do think they do feel different to a flying coaster. So I would like them perhaps to get something like that in the future, but definitely a wooden roller coaster next. But thank you for your suggestion. Dominic Davis said maybe an RMC like Medusa would work well at Alton Towers, and he also said maybe an RMC like Goliath would work well at Thorpe. Yes, I could see that happening, because of the Goliath RMC, it's sort of like a really tall version. It has like a height of 165 feet tall and a drop of 180 feet. The speed is 72 miles an hour. It's a pretty fast one that will work quite well in Thorpe Park. They don't really have that height limit like Alton Towers do. But the one he suggested, Medusa, that's got a much smaller one, 118 feet high. Of course, they can't have something that high, but yeah, like what they're saying, a smaller version of it would be very good. And it's also got a few inversions. Personally, I'd not have inversions, but an RMC would work very well for one of the parks, really. Matthew Paul also suggested he's thinking maybe a Mack Mega roller coaster, if it's very good. Or even something maybe a bit like a launch coaster like Cheetah Hunt at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. They do have Rita, which is an intimate accelerator coaster, much similar to Cheetah Hunt. They could upgrade it, because Cheetah Hunt does look a lot better than Rita, so they possibly could upgrade that, perhaps get rid of Rita to put the Cheetah Hunt in, but I can't see that happening anytime soon. But certainly a Mack Mega coaster would work well there. A different type of launch coaster, the Mack Mega coasters. Again, we haven't got them over here in the UK, so that'll bring something different to the UK. And after that, other theme parks might think they want a Mack Mega coaster. So thank you for the suggestions. And finally, Dominic Davis left another suggestion, some sort of gravity group wooden roller coaster between the Forbidden Valley and the Dark Forest, in that sort of valley down there. They can still have some big drops without the need of it going so high. Yeah, basically, what you're saying is that the idea they originally had, which was the sort of cross valley roller coaster. I'm not sure if they would have permission to go all the way along because in all that controversy around it, but certainly they could take up some of the area, and I think that would work very well there. A lot of big drops going into that valley, possibly could be the biggest drop on any of their ride, taking that record from Oblivion, their personal record for them. But yeah, certainly something like that would work very well there, so thank you for the suggestion.